Hey guys, I wanted to wait until the grand jury made some kind of a ruling before I put this video out, but I want to show you a shooting that happened last week in Shelby County, Ohio.
This doorbell video shows the moment 22-year-old James Rail walks up the steps to his ex-girlfriend's home on Cuther Road in Sydney. Seconds later, he's told to leave. You can hear the homeowners say, but Rail decides to bang on the door, trying to force his way in.
Are you trying the door? Dad. No, don't answer the dad.
The Shelby County Sheriff's Office says this is the moment when Rail broke the front door and began to go inside.
And my dad shot at him.
To immediately be hit with 3 bullets. That 911 call was made by Rail's alleged ex-girlfriend, who lives in the home. In that call, you can hear the fear in her voice as the operator asks her to check on Rail.
I don't want to look. Please don't make me look.
One person did look, though. Next-door neighbor Jeffrey Herford said he saw everything, as well as Rail on the ground.
Just a shallow breathing. I was looking at the guy's hands. He didn't have any gun in his hands or anything.
Herford does not agree with the neighbors or the police report. He says from what he saw, Rail never made it inside.
I don't see that. If he entered the house, why did he shoot through the door?
But with the new stand your ground laws here in the state, Ohioans do not have to back down if they feel threatened on their own property.
Now, since then, the grand jury has kicked this case out. So the father, based on the stand your ground and the Castle Doctrine tight laws that have been implemented in Ohio, the father is not going to be charged with anything, and rightfully so. Based on reports, it seems that the young man shouldered the door a couple of times to break it open, which tells me that your home security system is not very secure. It might be a lesson to all of us to double check that, make sure that the trim and everything is a little bit more secure. You can beef that up with some little steel plates around there, but it didn't seem like it was much of anything. Now, I don't have the raw video, the full raw video all the way through. All I have is what comes from the news agency. I've searched everywhere for it and I cannot find it. But based on the amount of effort that it looks like the young man had pushing that door in, it wasn't much of anything. So the father was definitely justified. I would find it hard to believe anywhere that the father would not be justified based on this. I mean, what was the young man intending to do? If you're willing to break the law, which it's breaking the law, to break a door to go in, then your intent was not to sit down and have a cup of coffee. So the father was certainly justified. I can't question this in any kind of way. Now, the point that I want to show is that allegedly what happened was the kid gets through the door and then the dad shoots him. Now, it's a glass door. At least the inside of the glass is glass. It looks like the outside is a wood frame or maybe a composite material or something. But the dad shoots him 3 times. The kid makes his way back outside to the side of the garage and collapses and succumbs to his injuries. The point that I want to make, and this is not much of a stretch, this is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to red flag gun laws. You notice the neighbor, and I'm going to play that clip real quick.
I was looking at the guy's hands. He didn't have any gun in his hands or anything.
Herford does not agree with the neighbors or the police report. He says from what he saw, Rail never made it inside.
I don't see that. If he entered the house, why did he shoot through the door?
The neighbor who claims he saw everything clearly was not friends with the dad who fired the gun. There's clearly some bad air or some bad blood between these two, probably throwing grass clippings onto the other guy's driveway, maybe shoveling snow onto his driveway. We've seen shootings in those cases before. Maybe putting trash out in front of his driveway, maybe driving too fast in front of his house. A number of things that make neighbors not get along with one another. So this guy actually was willing to tell police and the news agencies that he did not feel like this was correct, and clearly he was giving statements that could have gotten the dad into trouble. The reason why I bring that up in relation to red flag gun laws is this is the very thing that will get people, once red flag gun laws are implemented, this is the exact type of thing that will have somebody get their door kicked in at 2 a.m. in the morning and all of their firearms confiscated because you have a disgruntled neighbor that you simply don't get along with, and he's had enough. And now you have these really convenient red flag gun laws that he can call in on, and because he's your neighbor, surely he knows you because he's your neighbor, they actually take his statement for what it's worth and think that it's actually worth something. Neighbors have a tendency, because they are different types of people, sometimes different cultures, different ways of life, different upbringings, and all that kind of stuff, to where they just don't have common beliefs long term. And you start to see those things. You just get chinks in their armor, if you want to call it that, to where they just like, man, I don't like that about this guy, or I wish he wouldn't do that. And it just starts to metastasize and grow and grow and grow, and you get to a point where things like this will happen. Clearly, this neighbor and the shooter who defended himself and his daughter from the intruder do not get along, and that is scary to me. But again, I want to point out on this was a good shoot, rightfully so. I firmly stand behind what happened here based on the amount of evidence that we have. It looks like it was certainly justified, and I feel for the dad. This is a situation that nobody wants to be in. You don't just shake this off. Now he has to live with that, and the daughter does too. I mean, the daughter witnessed this whole thing, so it's unfortunate that this had to happen like this.
He's so horrible!